There are certain movies that don't just entertain people. They become part of people's lives. They become memories attached to childhood, family gatherings, late-night laughs, and unforgettable quotes that somehow survive for decades. And for millions of fans, Friday isn't just a movie franchise. It's a feeling. It's a cultural time capsule. It's one of those rare comedy worlds that people never truly let go of. Which is exactly why fans spent years asking the same question over and over again. Is another Friday movie ever coming? For decades, rumors appeared and disappeared. Excitement would rise, only to crash moments later. Fans almost gave up hope. But now, something unbelievable has happened. Ice Cube and Mike Epps have officially confirmed that Last Friday is finally becoming a reality. But what happened next may be even bigger than the sequel announcement itself. Because suddenly the question fans never stopped asking has entered the conversation again. Is Chris Tucker finally returning as Smokey? The moment this news broke, longtime fans immediately exploded with excitement online. Because this isn't just another sequel announcement. This is a return to a world people thought they'd never see again. During an exclusive interview with Kevin Frazier, Ice Cube and Mike Epps sat down to finally address the future of the franchise. And right away, the energy felt different. The chemistry between them instantly brought fans back. It felt natural, it felt familiar, it felt like no time had passed at all. Kevin Frazier knew exactly what fans wanted, and he wasted absolutely no time. He looked directly at Ice Cube and went straight for the question everyone had been waiting years to hear answered. Was Last Friday actually happening? No teasing, no games, just a direct question. And Ice Cube gave an answer that instantly spread across social media. He confirmed it was signed and officially moving forward. Then he delivered the kind of line only Ice Cube could say. He joked, "It's going down. It ain't going up, it's going down for sure." And suddenly, fans felt it. That classic Friday energy returned instantly. The attitude, the confidence, the humor. It sounded exactly like the franchise people remembered. But then the interview reached a moment that completely shifted the conversation. Kevin brought up one name, Chris Tucker. And suddenly, everything changed. Because for years, fans have carried one dream, seeing Smokey return. Ever since the first Friday movie released, Smokey became more than a character. He became a comedy legend. His voice, his expressions, his wild energy, his unforgettable one-liners. Smokey wasn't simply funny. He became one of those rare movie characters that permanently entered pop culture. But after the original film, Chris Tucker disappeared from the franchise entirely. Fans spent decades trying to understand why. Some believed it was money issues. Others thought success changed his path. And honestly, that theory made sense. Because shortly after Friday, Chris Tucker's career exploded. He became one of Hollywood's biggest stars, appearing in massive films and becoming one of comedy's most recognizable faces. Eventually, fans accepted reality. Smokey was gone. Or at least, that's what everyone thought. Because during this interview, Ice Cube dropped a bombshell nobody expected. He revealed that conversations with Chris Tucker are happening right now. Not rumors, not internet speculation, actual discussions. And then he revealed something even more shocking. Chris Tucker wants to come back. Just think about that for a second. Fans waited decades believing that chapter had closed forever. Suddenly, that door may have opened again. And Ice Cube didn't sound doubtful either. He sounded hopeful, excited even. He praised Chris Tucker and suggested that the possibility of this reunion is very real. Of course, Ice Cube still kept things playful. He joked that if the movie becomes successful, studios will immediately want more sequels and bigger paydays. But underneath the humor, fans noticed something important. This felt genuine. Because even Ice Cube understands what Craig, Day-Day, and Smokey together again would actually mean. That isn't just nostalgia, that's history. To understand why this matters so much, you have to go all the way back to where everything began. Back in 1995, the original Friday arrived and changed comedy forever. Nobody expected a simple neighborhood story to become a cultural phenomenon. There were no giant action scenes, no special effects, no over-the-top Hollywood spectacle. Just friends hanging out, everyday problems, hilarious situations, and unforgettable personalities. And somehow, that simplicity became magic because audiences connected with it immediately. The neighborhood felt real, the friendships felt real, the conversations felt real. Everything felt authentic. People saw themselves inside that world. But here's one of the most fascinating details fans may not know. Chris Tucker almost never played Smokey at all. During the interview, Ice Cube revealed that studios originally pushed for established comedians and safer choices. They wanted recognizable names, familiar stars, people they believed audiences already trusted. One of those names was Tommy Davidson. But Ice Cube saw something different. He wasn't searching for the safest option. He wanted fresh energy. He wanted someone audiences had never fully experienced before. And that decision changed comedy history forever. Because the moment Chris Tucker stepped into Smokey's shoes, lightning struck. Instantly. Even decades later, people still quote Smokey lines from memory. Think about how powerful that is. Very few comedy performances survive generations. Smokey did. Mike Epps even joked that Friday became something bigger than a movie franchise. He called it Friday University. And honestly, that description feels surprisingly accurate. Look at the names that came through this world. Mike Epps, Bernie Mac, Cat Williams, Faison Love, Terry Crews. So many unforgettable personalities passed through the Friday universe and later became massive stars. The franchise didn't just create laughs, it created legacies. And that's exactly why Last Friday now carries enormous expectations. Because fans are not simply waiting for another comedy movie. They're waiting for memories. They're waiting for emotions. They're waiting for a feeling they haven't experienced in years. Kevin Frazier tried getting more information about the movie's storyline. Fans desperately wanted answers. Where is Craig now? Where is Day-Day? How much time has passed? What happened to these characters after all these years? Ice Cube smiled, paused, then simply said, "You'll see." That was it. No spoilers, no details, nothing. And naturally, fans immediately started becoming detectives online. But some early details have reportedly started surfacing. And one possible storyline sounds surprisingly interesting. They're waiting for emotions. Reports suggest Last Friday may explore neighborhood gentrification and changing communities. That's fascinating, because the original Friday movies represented a specific place and culture frozen in time. But decades later, everything changes. Neighborhoods change, people move, communities evolve, life moves forward. So watching Craig and Day-Day navigate a completely different world could bring something deeper than comedy. It could bring emotion. And suddenly, this movie feels larger than people expected. Because Last Friday may not simply revisit the past. It may show what happens after time changes everything. Even more exciting, reports suggest filming could begin near the end of the year. And that makes this feel incredibly real. Not rumors, not fan wishes, real. Meanwhile, Ice Cube and Mike Epps aren't making fans wait quietly. To celebrate over 3 decades of Friday, they're planning something special. A one-night celebration called Every Day is Friday. And this doesn't sound like a simple event. This sounds like a full-blown reunion. Comedy, music, performances, nostalgia. Fans are even being encouraged to dress up as their favorite characters. Just imagine that atmosphere for a second. Hundreds of people dressed as iconic Friday personalities walking around together. That doesn't feel like a show. That feels like family coming together. Mike Epps will perform comedy. Ice Cube plans performances too. And music legends including Scarface and Warren G are expected to appear. The excitement became so huge that Ice Cube jokingly compared it to Comic-Con, but specifically for Friday fans. And honestly, he may not be wrong. Because after all these years, the franchise still has one of the most loyal audiences in entertainment. Toward the end of the interview, Kevin Frazier asked one final question that perfectly captured why Friday always felt different. He asked where all the wardrobe and clothing from the original movie came from. And Ice Cube's answer was beautifully simple. The swap meet. That's it. No massive costume department. No giant Hollywood budget. Just real people wearing real clothes from real places. And maybe that authenticity explains everything. Because Hollywood changed. Comedy changed. Audiences changed. But Friday never stopped feeling real. And now, with Chris Tucker potentially returning, Last Friday suddenly feels bigger than a sequel. It feels like unfinished history finally finding its ending. Because somewhere right now, millions of fans are probably imagining that opening scene. The camera slowly moves through the neighborhood. The music starts. Everything feels familiar. Then suddenly, a voice, a laugh, a face audiences haven't seen in decades. And maybe, just maybe, Smokey walks back onto the screen one final time. If that moment happens, theaters may completely erupt. Because some characters never disappear. Some stories never really end. And after decades of waiting, Last Friday may finally be ready to remind everyone why every day really is Friday.